According to Sam Smith, Darryn Peterson falling to the Chicago Bulls at number 4 would be a nightmare scenario. Do me and Pat agree with that? We're going to discuss that plus more topics on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That is Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host, creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in the world, soccer, is here. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Pat, we got a number of things to talk about today. We're going to be discussing, it's Darryn Peterson, the nightmare scenario. We're going to get into that here in a second. Caleb Wilson has not worked out for any team. Darryn Peterson has worked out for one team and shut it down. What's happening there? And the Bulls have worked out Kareem Lopez as well. Pat, let's go ahead and start off at the top here, man. Sam Smith had a blog in which he talked about Darryn Peterson, and direct quote, Darryn Peterson falling to the Chicago Bulls would be a nightmare scenario. He namely called out, his availability late in games, stuff like that. Me and you have talked about this concern about Darryn Peterson, his availability. I think me and you both aired on the side that it just felt like this was the agreement. Like him going to that college, I feel like that was part of the recruitment process. They probably said, hey, listen, him and his agent at that point were probably like, we really want to make sure we're healthy and we put in the best position for the NBA. And they probably said, listen, whatever you need, we got you, brother. How do you feel about this, Pat?
I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like some people are using college as just a bouncing off ground, right? A getting to that next level, stepping stool, if you will. And unfortunately, right, college is a multi-billion-dollar business. And so when things like this happen, people are upset because they feel like, oh, you're not going 100% or you're not going all out. Just because you play for a team and have that jersey on or have those colors on, and you should want to go all out. But to me, with Darryn Peterson, I've always thought his goal was just to get to the NBA. I don't know if that is going to be the case. Listen, he may come into the league and that be exactly who he is, right? Like he ends up being the guy that's not finishing games or being the guy that is looking to load manage. But it doesn't feel like that was the goal because we've seen this before. We saw Jalen Johnson do this in a form. We've seen a ton of guys who have, you're all excited. You get to the tournament and then all of a sudden it's just like the worst game you've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like I think that there's a lot to be said about moments like that. And it's not new coming from Darryn Peterson.
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing. He does say later in the article, like if he falls at 4, the Bulls have to take him, which I'm glad that he at least put that in there because, listen, whoever falls at 4, we're taking him. Like I get all these think pieces. And when it comes down to it, whoever's there at 4 out of the top 4, that's who we're taking.
100%. And it's also, I think this is the thing too, right? And I've said this multiple times when everyone wasn't sitting here talking about Darryn Peterson and the concern that he may not go all out or that he may want to load manage. Darryn Peterson was not close to any of these guys as far as prospects. He was the clear cut number one. He was the guy that
cut number one,
like so far clear. Yeah. Yes. So I think that you have to remember that this is a young man who was believed to be extremely talented. Dare I say, maybe a little bit of gap in talent between him and AJ. Now, maybe that's closed because of personality and all the other things that go into it. But if you got him at 4, I would not be complaining. I would say, let's hope that this isn't who he is in the NBA. But I don't think we have those concerns about Jalen Johnson in the NBA. And he did pretty much the same thing. He told his team, hey, have a fun tournament. I'll see y'all once I get this bag. Yeah. Because I'm not sticking around here and risking my NBA career on this. So I think that this is, if he falls to us, I would almost be excited because you probably got the most talented player in the draft.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I know this kind of bleeds into the next topic, but like Darryn Peterson also has only worked out now for the Washington Wizards, shut that down. And so like I said, he's not going to fall. Like, and science is starting to point to, and looks like, keep in mind, the Washington Wizards also worked out AJ DeBonsa over this weekend. The fact that Darryn Peterson worked out for them was basically like, oh yeah, I'm not working out for no more y'all. I think we kind of know where things are going.
Yeah, listen, like I know it's towards the end of the draft, even right the topic that we about to talk about. This is when it's clearly the draft is coming up real quick because we got to make up a story. We got to make up an angle. We have to have, oh, this is so concerning that X, Y, and Z didn't work out here. And it's like,
no,
we do this every year.
And I hate to tell y'all this, like when there's a consensus, a lot of times I'm honestly surprised that AJ DeBonsa worked out for 3 teams, because most time when you're a top you don't. You work out with a team, they say, oh yeah, we got you here at this spot, and then you're just like, all right, cool. Like, all right, I'll see y'all at the draft.
It's probably a situation of working out for teams that could potentially trade up too for AJ.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to know kind of what you're getting yourself into depending on where you go, because if somebody wants to trade up to 1, you could be in a different city. But yeah, it's you can tell that it's the time where we have to make a story out of something, because as we've said for most of these drafts, once it gets to the end, we're all going to go, yep, the exact 3 that we thought were going to go top 4 months ago ended up going top 4.
Well, I mean, and even with the Darryn Peterson, it's even funnier because it's like there was so much spent the last month and a half on, Darryn Peterson could drop. Oh, he didn't play late in games. Oh, the creatine. If he still ends up the number 1 overall pick, which exactly was projected for the damn near the last year, it's like, what have we been doing here, man?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think the funny thing too with Darryn Peterson is that when you watch his game, you can see that he's able to set himself apart. So it is the optics that are making him drop to 2 even, right? Like that. If he were the guy that was so gung-ho about going out there and playing in college, I think that there would be so much conversation around him as the number 1 pick that AJ DeBonsa would be the guy that we'd be talking about. What if he could fall to 4?
Yeah. I mean, it at this point, like I said, if Peterson falls at 4, he's great. And I even see people in chat like, well, he got paid. Everybody gets paid in college. Like at this point now, everybody at that level is getting paid in college. Like, yeah. and
Water boy's getting paid.
And again, and you all are lying to yourself. If somebody said, hey, okay, listen, you come over to Kansas, you play for us. Yeah, but we're gonna make sure we keep your minutes down. You're gonna be 100% healthy for most of y'all would say yes. If you were projected to be the number 1 overall pick, most people are gonna say yes. Now I know it's us sitting here. I want to see the fire of competition, and I do want to see that. But you got to realize some people for this treat this like a business very early on because they're getting agents early. There's now NIL agents and stuff like that. Like all this, like players now have a lot more awareness of the business side of basketball than what it used to take them 3-4 years at the NBA level to learn. There's just a lot more awareness of it. And some people are treating it like a business. And that's what it seemed like Darryn Peterson and Kansas decided to do last year.
Yeah. And to me, the only nightmare scenario would be if we're completely wrong in all of this, which I guess there's a potential of it. But if he does come into this league and ends up being the guy who is, looking for load management and looking for the extra money and things like that at a very young age, I'd be honest with you, especially with the Bulls, the concern again on the medical staff, did you check him out? Why is he having to sit? Why can't this man take creatine? Because he's going to need some kind of protein to bulk up in the NBA.
How much creatine were you taking? Creatine's become pretty common now. Like
he had to be injected it in his veins, bro.
Well, I'll tell this story. Pat knows this story because me and Pat are actually family. I found out later in life, my dad was doping me with creatine in high school when I was training for football. Like.
You sure that boy's 16? Yeah, he's 16, all right.
And it makes sense why I peaked so because like keep in mind, I was like 5'9" at like 13 years old, and everybody thought I was gonna be above 6 foot. And I grew another 1.5 inches the rest of my life. That's why my dad was sitting there doping me with creatine early in life. But nonetheless,
that's hilarious, bro.
But yeah, but listen, and I was taking it, and I didn't even know, didn't feel no ill. So how much creatine were you taking, my boy? What was going on there?
Creatine, bro. He was using creatine for milk. He was just adding water and throwing some cereal in that mess. Frosted Flakes and creatine.
Crazy. No wonder my stiff arm game was so good in high school football. I used to put people out. But with that said, we're going to continue the conversation. We're talking about Caleb Wilson not working out for any team, and what does that mean, if anything? And as me and Pat just said, it doesn't mean as much as some people are making out to be. We'll talk about that right after this. Before we get into that, I do got to get into a message from one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting, from opening whistle to the final kick. Now FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked in. Every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals mean more bonus bets. All you have to do is turn on your token. This is what I love about these tournament moments. You can turn on a match between teams you don't normally follow, and suddenly one goal changes everything. The tension builds, and so quickly that you're invested before you even realize it. I'd be looking for those matchups where both teams are aggressive offensively, because those games can open up fast. The more chances being created, the more exciting the match becomes from beginning to end. And now you get to benefit from each goal scored. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Also got to talk to you guys about another one of our sponsors, and that is Rougiette, a favorite of Shay. Throughout the NHL playoffs, every shift matters. Every moment is intense, and everything comes down to execution when the pressure is at its highest. And just like athletes must be ready to perform when the puck drops, a lot of guys want the same sense of readiness and confidence in their own lives too. That's where Rougiette comes in. Rougiette offers modern performance-focused treatments designed to help you be ready when it matters. The top option, Rougiette Ready, is a fast-acting, clinically formulated treatment that comes in a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. It's designed for convenience with fast absorption and effects that can begin in about 15 minutes and last up to 36 hours. They also offer Go Long, which is formulated to support both control for longer lasting needs. It's all about helping guys feel prepared, confident, and in control. In the playoffs, readiness isn't optional. It's everything. And for a lot of guys, the idea of being ready for the right moment carries over into everyday life too. That's exactly what Rougiette is built around. Head to Rougiette.com/LockedOnNHL to get 15% off your ED treatment. That's RUGEIT.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rougiette, performance medicine for men. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat.
Grandpa got to go get some of that Rougiette.
That is hilarious. Anyway, Caleb Wilson.
It's such a freaky ad read in the middle
It's
of
such a freaky ad. First of all, I mean, shout out to the marketing. When they named it Go Long.
Go Long
in
the lead.
what they were doing, bro. Like,
it's such a freaky ad read in the middle of a show, bro. It's just like, try that new Go Long.
Oh, man, make sure you guys go to LockedOnBulls.supercast.com to sign up for the Everydayers Club as well, where you get exclusive access to the Locked On Discord. Pat, Caleb Wilson has not worked out for any team. To me, that sounds like somebody who wanted to go to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls drafted 4, and he's the number 4th overall prospect. That's just what that sounds like. There's not a lot of thinking that needs to be done here.
No, and it sounds like I think that when that story came out, it was very telling probably for both sides, because remember, there was a report that if Caleb Wilson ended up getting pretty much a guarantee that, hey, if you're there, we're taking you, that he wouldn't work out for other teams. Well, the Bulls don't want to have that speculation, because they want to still have maybe some trade advantages in the draft. They want to still have some elusiveness going into this. But if I work you out and really just that we're the only team you worked out for, now all of a sudden that speculation becomes, well, pretty clearly he's going to you. So I like that. I'm not concerned, I guess I shouldn't say I'm not concerned that he hasn't worked out for the Bulls, because he hasn't worked out for any team. And I think that at the end of the day, the draft's going to fall how it's going to fall. If somebody decides to take him 3 based off of what they saw at the combine, then he won't be there for us. If they don't, and the analytical guys are all in on Boozer, we're getting Caleb Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple. Like you said, don't get me wrong. Could a team without, because we've seen we've taken players that we haven't worked out before. So, like, a team could absolutely, if they want to take Caleb Wilson, they're going to take Caleb Wilson. They're going to go off what they saw at the combine, like you said. They're going to go off what they saw in college, and they'll take Caleb Wilson. And when you look at it from Caleb and his agent's perspective, like, why? Here's the logical part of it, right? Caleb Wilson is somebody who only has something to lose in a workout. And what I mean by that is this, Pat. Like God forbid he has an off shooting day. Yeah. God forbid he rolls an ankle in a workout. God forbid something like that happens. He's the consensus number 4 pick, and he wants to be drafted by the team with the number 4 draft. It can only possibly hurt him to work out for other teams. Nobody needs that. So him and his agent probably looked at this and said, listen, whether they have the promise from the Bulls or not, that's not even part of the conversation, whether they have the promise or not. If you want to go to number 4 and you're the 4th overall prospect, you don't work out for the 3 teams above.
Yeah. And the reality of it is this, right? Like when you look at the Bulls front office, you would hope that the draft evaluation has already been done, right? I don't care what you do in a workout. I care what you do when you're actually on the court, right? Like there's guys that have dominated workouts who, when they get on the court, they look horrible. So to me, all I need is the sit down portion of this for Caleb Wilson. If I'm the Bulls front office, because I've already done extensive breakdown of him at the combine and, of course, what he did in college. I've seen him in an NCAA tournament and seen him in moments that are big, right? So, like, your evaluation really is done based off of that. And then you get a guy in and you see if there's something extra that you can figure out about him. But mostly the part that's important there is figuring out what kind of person he is. And you can do that over the phone.
Yeah.
Or over a Zoom call now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that's just what it comes down to. It is what it is. Like, I'm not going to look too much into this, but I do want to throw this in here, Pat, because just as, you know, to kind of fill out this segment, it did come out yesterday from Brett Siegel. So this isn't bulls.fart.com that's reporting stuff, because this summer, the number of random Bulls pages that have popped up that are tweeting nonsense and bull crap is it's crazy.
I saw one that said the Bulls want Darryn Fox.
Bro.
And I was like, why would the Bulls want to add a $30 million 30-year-old Darryn Fox to this team? And what are we getting back in return for that? Like, that rumor don't even make sense.
It don't make any sense, bro. It doesn't make any sense. But outside of that, Brett Siegel did report that the Bulls have made some calls as far as trading up from number 15. And from what he's been told, that Noah Essengay was at least brought up in some of those talks. He did say it had no traction at all. I think me and you actually talked about this, you know, late last week at some point when one of the episodes you were on. Like, at this point, I understand it, right? Because you're likely drafting a forward. It's either going to be Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson, right? Like, so if you look at it and say, well, heck, we don't want another forward that we have to develop. If we can get a guard and move up from 15 like we kind of want to, that's just a better spread out of our development process. I'm not mad at them exploring that. What do you think about that part of it, if it is true again?
Listen, I mean, I told you, nobody is truly safe from the previous regime. And if that's what it takes to move up and go get a player that this new front office is going to believe in more, then I'd rather see that, right? What you don't want is a situation, especially with a young player like Noah, who is, you know, still developing, hasn't played really any NBA time, and is going to still have to figure out what this league is all about. The worst thing that could happen for you is that you also have a front office in your own building that doesn't believe in you and is trying to figure out a way to get rid of you as soon as possible. So I think that, you know, if that's the direction they want to go, so be it. End of the day, better be right. The guy you bring in better be better than what you sent out. And we've seen too often that that's not the case for the Bulls in the past. So we'll see if Bryson Graham's able to figure that part out.
Yeah. We shall see what's going to happen there. I mean, this draft is going to be, I think, a fun one between all the superstar names that could move, and not necessarily for the Bulls, but all the names that we're talking about moving between Ja and Giannis and Fox now, and you know, whatever else could happen. Like, this could be a really interesting draft with movement. And I'll say this, regardless of the Bulls moving up or not with their own pick, I'm really interested to see if the Chicago Bulls play the third team in any of these trades to get some assets back.
Now, that'll be interesting to see, because I've seen a couple of those scenarios floated around, and not to say that, you know, there's anything substantial reported, but some of the trades actually do make sense, where it's just the Bulls being a team that goes, we'll send something if you send us a higher pick Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, man.
But hey, we got to get into Brett Siegel claiming that we're going to have a head coach here real quick. Got to talk about that and more coming up next. But first, a message from
Ethos.
Thank you. I was sitting here looking for the thing.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockdownNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockdownNBA. That's ethos.com/lockdownNBA. Ethos.com/lockdownNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
All right, Pat, before we get up out of here, I should have hit the music. I'm sorry.
Crazy.
Random white man on the screen. I lost my whole Shout out to John Corrales. John Corrales actually
dope as heck.
Yeah, John is a mad dope person, man. So Brett Siegel in his blog late yesterday, his Sunday roundup of news items, just a very small part in that, did mention that the Bulls can make a hire as soon as today, Pat. He said Monday, as soon as today. This has been, I guess, a long journey coming. I know a lot of Bulls fans are impatient about it. The last that we've heard, the finalists come down to Mike Nori, Tiago Splitter, and Ryan Schmidt. Pat, do you think we get a coaching hire done today? And in the grand scheme of things, we're what, 8 days into the NBA draft? Like, at this point, I don't know that the coach is really going to have a lot of input on the draft plans. But how are you feeling, Pat?
I said it the entire time. I don't think the coach is going to have any input on the draft plans, really. It maybe at 15, there's some options that get thrown his way. But you're going to get whoever's at 4, you're getting at 4. Like, it doesn't matter which one of them fall. There's no Darius Sacuff rising up. There is no Keaton Wagler rising up the top 4. You're getting who you get. But listen, like, I guess it would make sense. The season just ended. You want to start things clean. And, from a media perspective, hiring during the NBA Finals is a story that gets swept under. Hiring after the NBA Finals is something that you pay a little bit more attention to, especially if, I saw 51 minutes ago, Evan Sideri talking about there's significant league-wide buzz around Tiago Splitter soon becoming the Bulls head coach. So if you want to make a splash hire like that, where it's going to be a story that Portland basically just said, had a great season, get out, we don't have money for you. Helps the Bulls get their name back in the media a little more.
The headline, if Tiago Splitter's hired as a coach.
I know where you're going. I hate you so much.
Take your pick and steal your coach.
No, I didn't know where you were
Where
going.
you thought I was going to go with that?
I thought you were going to do Tiago splitting.
Oh. That's a better one. All right. That's on the thumbnail. Tiago splitting. That is on the thumbnail. Wow. I can't believe my brain didn't go. That's funny. That's funnier than take your pick and steal your coach, but that's crazy.
Hey, Tiago splitting.
Bravo. This is why Pat's the GOAT. Bravo. Bravo to Pat.
I am back.
Bravo.
I am back. But no, listen, like I think, there is some part of this where maybe I would assume that we would hear it pretty soon here. If today is the day that's going to end up getting done, it's fine. I don't think it has any implication on the upcoming draft or any of that, right? Like maybe in the second round, Tiago Splitter sees a Tiago Splitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only part that you really want to have.
Would that be Bobo Miller? Would he be the Tiago Splitter in the second round potentially?
He might be, because Tiago Splitter's weird. Like, he's one of those players that you remember very well being a massive part of like certain moments with the Spurs. And then you look at his numbers and you're like, this guy really
That's what it was.
the
He literally
smallest
just
part.
had some big moments,
Yes.
right? Like he was very serviceable more times than not, but he did have some moments, especially in some of those playoff series where you're like, hey, Splitter just put somebody on the poster.
Yeah, or you don't get this game without Tiago Splitter giving you X, Y, and Z on the offensive or defensive end. So it's like, that's not a bad take. And that's a player that you want off of your bench. Yeah. So Tiago, give input on that because it ain't gonna be 4 and 15.
Anything left, Pat, before we get up out of here today, man?
Nah, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. You can follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us throughout this offseason. It's been a fun one already, but I do got something for y'all. We are only 38 subscribers away from 1,400 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I know there are 38 of y'all watching that are freeloading and have not hit that subscribe button. I know we post all the time. It can feel like we're in your algorithm. Just double check, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to that 1,400 subscribers on YouTube by the end of this week. I think we can get it done, especially when that coaching news drops. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and Fubo TV, meaning anywhere you want us, you can get it. We'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, maybe even tonight if the news actually drops, man. We'll see you guys then. Peace.